Got so many things to talk about tonight, my friends. I don't even know where to even begin. So let's just jump into it. Let me say, first of all, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much. I'm going to hit the story, which is the most interesting to me. This New York assassin case is better than anything I've ever seen. This is an inside job meets nobody cares. Imagine there being an assassination where so many people are happy or don't care. Have you ever seen anything like this? Have you ever seen anything like this where nobody's calling for justice? Nobody's calling for, we've got to do something. We got to get to the bottom of this. No, people are saying, well, what are you going to do? In Washington Square Park today, they had people dressed up as the assassin in kind of like a costume contest of sorts. Never seen anything like it. Absolutely incredible. How does that work? And nobody is anywhere near figuring out who this person is. They say they've got his name. And then again, is it a he? Do we know? Let me show you something here. Ready? Check this out. What do you see? Man, woman, trans, girl, boy, what do you see? What do you think? Come on, everybody's an expert. What do you see here? Look at the jawline. Every time I think I see a man, I'm not sure. I see man, and then the smile, girl. Isn't that something? But yet the pictures don't necessarily seem to comport or comply with the photos taken in the Starbucks. What do you think? And also, nobody's looking into the People's Action Institute. Mark this one down. They were responsible. They have been involved in repeated protests and the like, and they're claiming, this is a tragic. Don't be surprised. We don't know anything. Let's look at it once more. Okay? Look at this once more. Somebody said they noticed a thyroid cartilage, or as you would say, an Adam's apple. Watch. I didn't really see that. I don't see that. It's a little bit of a shadowy kind of now there you see there's a line, but that's not necessarily an Adam's apple. Sometimes you can see on a woman's neck, you can see the actual, not the trachea, but the, what would you call it? Not the larynx, but the windpipe, so to speak. This contraption, the esophagus, or this esophageal. I like esophagus. What do you think? They said the other guy had a 5 o'clock shave. I didn't see that one because I'm looking at the other pictures. Now this was done, and this you can see, very interesting. There's a wonderful site, but a wonderful piece from a woman, an FBI agent. Her name is, and I'll give you this. Please follow her. She is, Jennifer Coffindaffer. But I want to make Coffindaffer, Coffin, like Coffin Daffer, FBI. I just asked a former colleague at the FBI, the master of digital forensic analysis and behavior, now retired, to examine this footage and assess. He said no as to AI. He also took some stills for me, which show interesting rings on the killer's fingers. Thank you to my friend. On a side note, quite an androgynous look. Uh, this is the killer of Brian Thompson. And actually, lip readers, please let us know. So more is being done about this. This is fascinating. Why don't the police say we're on the lookout for so and so? We're on the lookout for. Why? Why do you think? I don't know. I am absolutely 100% fascinated by this. Fascinated. Because this is so different than any other example. We've always known the name. We've known their entire social media history. We have known their, you name it. We have seen this. We know all about them, where they're from, what they think, what they believe, what they've said. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Now, by the way, nobody knows anything, especially as you get to see what is being written here in the live chat. Nobody has said anything. Nothing. So you don't know. Nobody knows what to make out of this. Where they were looking for the gun. They were looking for the gun. Well, what do you need the gun for? Well, for the gun. Okay, you find a gun. All right, let's say you find, oh, here it is. It's that weird 9mm, that particular brand of gun. Remember this morning we went through this. I told you all about this unique, this wonderful gun. You shouldn't say wonderful, but it was from the days of the OSS. Actually, it's used as an assassin's gun. And it doesn't make any noise, and it's used in veterinary clinics to put down animals. It doesn't scare the rest of them. I don't know why you want to use it. It's the B&T Station 6, the modern homage to the historic covert tools developed by World War II by the Special Operations Executive, or the SOE. And it is the Welrod pistol, which was then it's we know all about it. It's about $2,000 to $5,000. You can pick them up. Why would you use this? This is a really kind of a neat. You have to basically load each rack. There's a magazine, but you have to pull each one. It's not like an automatic where they eject. It's fascinating. So why would you want to necessarily find this? Okay, you found the gun. Okay, terrific. It's not with him. Okay, right. You found it. Okay. Any prints on it? No. Okay. Does the 9mm match that? Yeah. Well, that's the gun, all right. That's the gun. Anybody see him or her or they throw this? We don't know. And people want to keep him quiet. He is most probably being kept harbored by others. He's a modern day John Dillinger. Remember the note? Do you remember the day? Do you remember this year? If I told you the name Arnold Schuster, do you remember this? 1952. Arnold Schuster, 25-year-old from Brooklyn, New York. You know who Arnold Schuster was? Does that name come to mind? Who was the first person to get the name Arnold Schuster? By the way, $50,000 seems kind of paltry, don't you think? Don't you think? Arnold Schuster. Does that name ring a bell? Sort of like this in a weird way. Linda Hazlitt, ladies and gentlemen, says, was he personally respond for stopping claims being paid or people dying? He's the CEO. He's the CEO. Absolutely. Well, one would suggest. There was an AI program which they implemented theoretically to deny claims en masse, as it were. A fascinating version of this. Literally fascinating. Okay, who is Arnold Schuster? One of the best stories ever. Arnold Schuster was a clothing. He worked at a haberdasher. He was a salesman and an amateur detective known for his involvement in the capture of Willie Sutton. What happened was he was a very interesting. Let me see this. A longtime resident of Brooklyn, 24-year-old Schuster recognized wanted bank robber Willie Sutton while traveling on the subway in February of 1952, or on February. Following Sutton to a garage, Schuster quickly notified police of his whereabouts. This resulted in the robber's later arrest, where he was charging a dead battery. Well, as Sutton was charging a dead battery from his car, which had stalled. Now, according to the testimony in 1963, you remember Willie Sutton? They asked Willie Sutton, why do you rob banks? He says, that's where the money is. According to Joe Valachi, Albert Anastasia, who was in charge of the Gambino crime family, actually he was the head, allegedly ordered Schuster's murder when Anastasia saw Schuster being interviewed on television. He allegedly said, I can't stand squealers. Hit that guy. However, law enforcement authorities were skeptical of Valachi's claims regarding Anastasia, as a murder sanctioned by a notorious organized crime leader would undoubtedly draw unwanted attention. Although Fred Tenuto remained on the internet. Make a long story short, the story is, and what people believe, is that even Albert Anastasia, head of Murder Incorporated, so loved Willie Sutton, like people feel in a weird way connected to this fellow, that he had the person who was responsible for Willie Sutton's arrest turned in and shot. Actually, got turned in, but shot. So in a weird way, this person, in some respects, by this kind of Antifa-like outlaw group of people, and don't forget, people like this, people like the People's Action Institute. Now, I'm not saying they're responsible by any stretch of the imagination, but they were very actively involved in some of the protests and the like. And they're kind of sort of I don't say Maoist, but socialist. They're very pro-China. Now look how easy this is. United Healthcare shooting. Here we go. Statement regarding the shooting. This is from the People's Action Institute. We are shocked by the news of the tragic killing of Brian Thompson. We offer our condolences to his loved one. Law enforcement has not identified the shooter. We know there was a crisis of gun violence. There was also a crisis of denials of care by private health insurance corporations, including United Health. The People's Action Care Over Cost campaign gives people a productive, nonviolent, democratic way to create change on this problem. Okay, now they have been, and there have been connections to this group of people. They've been very, very active. In April and May, they look at this. This morning, patients, doctors, and advocates protested United Health's greed during a Senate Finance Committee hearing with United Health Group CEO. And this was a group of folks who, and by the by, I'm not in any way suggesting they don't have a valid claim. And again, I'm not suggesting they're responsible for this, but understand this volatility. Gene Crane says United Health was number one of the worst approval rates for medical procedures. Hit that like button. Now, what this is let's take it a step further. If this indeed was a group of people who were responsible for or who promoted the notion of corporate greed, if he was viewed as, that's where I would be looking. not the People's Action Institute, but people in that ilk. As I said the other day, I said there's a group of people, something like Antifa. We're not mentioning Antifa, but young people who were. When I saw people, young individuals, lawyers, new lawyers who would actually risk their careers by wanting to throw a Molotov cocktail into a police officer's car, I realized, wow, this has changed drastically. Drastically. Do you understand what I'm saying? Drastically, dear friends. Now, the new news is that President Trump in Notre Dame has absolutely, positively been stupendous. Did you see this? Did you see Jill? Hey, JTE joins us. JTE says, Taylor Lorenz is a terrorist posting CEO's pics. I can see what you're saying, my friend. She's posting pictures of things that you can already see, but what you're doing is you're saying it's very easy to get people to do things your way. It is very easy for you to say, that's the one, that's the guy. Hey, those of you, those folks out there who have been unable to find a particular ideology that you can attach to, this is the chance. This is the time. This is the moment. This is the moment. See, we're in a wonderful war right now. And the president in Notre Dame, check out the picture. Go and look at my X or Twitter and look at the picture of, I think it's Ashley, but it's Jill looking at Trump. Trump, virile, not incontinent. Joe falling asleep. Why? Nelson says, poor President Macron's hand almost had it taken off by Trump due to the handshake. Yes, I saw that. It was a most forceful one. It was indeed. Did you see that one? Why are they letting Joe Biden out and doing these horrible guest appearances? Why is he going to Angola, wherever he is, and falling asleep? Why? Why are they doing? Why now? He's going to be out of office. What is he doing anything? Why is he going to Africa for? Long trips. Why? Do you think someone is deliberately trying to make him look even worse? Why are they doing that? What about when they're going to be doing omnibus pardons across the board? Everybody's going to be given pardon. Everybody. How many of you great people think it's possible that he's being paid? They're paying him off. He's selling pardons. Not to him directly, but to some organization, or maybe hunters. He's doing paintings again. What if Biden says, I'm taking the fall. I've got nothing to lose. I'm not going to be around much longer. They can't put me in prison. I'm falling asleep. I'm incompetent, but I can take that money in. They're working on pardons as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we have pardons? Many people have been suggesting for the longest time for us to get rid of pardons. What do pardons do? We don't need them. We don't need them. What do you think about this? And someone says, Eric says, I hate the 2-month transition. That's why President Trump has to be very careful. Don't do any interviews with, Meet the Press or whatever it is. Don't. Don't do it. But Biden setting up the idea, okay, maybe I am. Now, if somebody's buying pardons, the people buying the pardon, they're involved as well. Christopher Wray, Cheney, Liz Cheney, Fauci, these kind of a cumulative, all-encompassing. It's incredible. And the rest of the world, do you know what's happened when the president, when people see Trump, they look at him with admiration. But what do you think the world thinks when they see Biden? Damn it. Let me try this again. It was such a great segue. It was so good. Let me see if I can do this again. Can I do this? Let me see if I can do this again. No. Okay. God, it was such a great one. Did you see Karine Jean-Pierre? Karine Jean-Pierre recently at her last moment?
All have dealt.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
What is she going to be doing? What is she going to be doing? What is Karine Jean-Pierre? JTE says Syrian rebels, just a second, Syrian rebels made it to Damascus. They'll take it now. Assad is hiding in Russia. Why do you think anybody's talked about this? Why do you think anybody's even, do you think anybody's even, anybody care about this? Does anybody have any concern whatsoever for this? Anybody? Does anybody care? Let me see if I can do this for you. This is the one I wanted to show you of the world's reaction to Biden. This is it. Have you heard this man? He's famous in Spain. They call him the laugher or something, but he told this story. It was so terrific about how he did the paella pans, and he always makes me happy when I see him laughing. Whenever I see him laughing, it makes me feel good because it's contagious. It's a kind of a strange thing. You know what else I've been loving to see lately? This.
The fuck do I have to do in this fucking council in order to get respect as a black woman?
Earlier today, Boston City Council member Tanya Fernandez Anderson was arrested on federal public corruption charges.
Isn't this delicious?
These 6 felony charges stem from an alleged kickback scheme that she orchestrated to obtain several $1,000s in taxpayer money.
Several thousand?
In exchange for a bribe she paid to a staffer she gave her a very large bonus. The indictment charges Ms. Fernandez Anderson with 5 counts of wire fraud in violation of Title 18, United States Code 1343, and 1 count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds in violation of Title 18, United States Code 666. According to the indictment that was returned by a federal grand jury earlier this week, Ms. Fernandez Anderson was facing financial difficulty in 2023. Part of that financial difficulty stemmed from a sanction that was imposed by the State Ethics Commission of $5,000 for Ms. Fernandez Anderson hiring immediate family members in her Boston City Council office.
She's a crook.
And in around that same time in 2023, Ms. Fernandez Anderson, the grand jury alleges, hatched this scheme to funnel bonus payments, taxpayer money into her own pocket in the tune of approximately $7,000. Specifically, despite the fact that she was under investigation by the State Ethics Commission, Ms. Fernandez Anderson hired another family member on her staff at Boston City Hall to handle constituent services. That staff member was related to her, but Ms. Fernandez Anderson falsely represented to City Hall that there was no familial relationship. That is staff member A in the indictment. Ms. Fernandez Anderson then went on to tell that staff member A that she would give that person a $13,000 bonus. That bonus of $13,000 was more than twice as much as Ms. Fernandez was paying to the rest of her staff combined in bonuses. But that supersized bonus came with a hitch. Ms. Fernandez-Anderson told staff member A that she would need to fork over $7,000 in cash back to Ms. Fernandez-Anderson.
Wow.
Staff member A agreed. The indictment alleges that after staff member A received the deposit of approximately $10,000 after taxes in her bank account, staff member A was directed to make cash withdrawals. And she did that in the days following the receipt of the money in her bank account.
Isn't this incredible?
$3,000 on May 31st, 2023, $3,000 on June 5th, 2023, and $4,000 on the afternoon of Friday, June 9th, 2023.
What? She's a crook.
And shortly after that last cash withdrawal, Ms. Fernandez-Anderson and staff member A texted each other, and they arranged for a meetup in a bathroom in City Hall. That meeting happened in the bathroom around 4 o'clock or so on that Friday. And when they met inside that bathroom, Ms. Fernandez-Anderson put $7,000 in cash in her pocket, the grand jury alleges.
Wow.
All of that money was funded by the taxpayers of the city of Boston. When faced with financial hardship and that State Ethics Commission $5,000 sanction, Ms.
$5,000.
Fernandez-Anderson chose to violate her fiduciary duty and defraud the city of Boston, the indictment alleges, rather than find a legal means to pay off that debt.
Isn't that something? And one more time, remember this.
What the fuck do I have to do in this fucking council in order to get respect as a black woman?
Well, not that. Doesn't just, we have a new level of crook, my friend. A new level of crook that we haven't seen before. Did you hear remember what I told you? AOC is making her way up too. Did you hear the latest about this? She wants Democratic leadership. She just turned 35, or she's 35 years old. You know how important this is? You know who, and you probably don't know who she is. You probably think you know who AOC is, but you really don't.
Of American politics, we encounter a remarkable tale of transformation. Our protagonist, a young idiotic bartender, embarks on an astonishing journey that takes her from behind the bar to the corrupt halls of Congress overnight. This young jackass, not known for her intellectual prowess, is driven by a fervent commitment to woke ideology. As she ascends into the halls of corruption, our young jackass is filled with idealism and vodka, determined to implement her idiotic ideas. However, the road ahead is fraught with challenges, and her extremely low intellect quickly becomes even more apparent. Her woke policies lead to chaos, and the area she represents becomes even more of a shithole. Illegal immigration surges, straining local resources. Poverty deepens, casting a shadow of despair over the community. Drugs and crime grip the region, leaving its residents regretting putting a bartender in charge of their city. It appears that our young jackass's lack of intellect and dumbass notions are screwing the very people she was supposed to serve. The story of this young jackass in Congress is a cautionary tale of putting a bartender in charge of more than making margaritas.
We are able, ladies and gentlemen, to connect with levels of genius, levels of sarcastic, sardonic political commentary that are so perfect and so beautiful and so gorgeous. Nothing gets near them. Nothing. There was a time when we would have to wait to see, maybe somebody would do a little cartoon, a little Oliphant or a Thomas Nast, and we would wait for a cartoon. Maybe a cartoon in the New Yorker, or we say, oh, that's such a great, that's brilliant, that's a cartoon. Isn't that wonderful? The internet provides us with now things that are just so. Every now and then, somebody will see something and be able to show a level of genius by seeing something and knowing how to add something there too to make it comedically perfect. Would you like an example of this?
Silent night, holy night.
I hear you.
Oh,
All is calm. All is bright. Round your virgin mother and child.
I am awash in the genius of what we're saying. I'm able to watch. I haven't watched Fox News one time today. I don't even know I have no idea what's going on. All I'm doing is I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at X. I'm looking at Twitter. I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing the president absolutely killing them. Did you see Harry? Not Harry. Wills. Prince King William, whatever, Prince, was with Trump and just loving it. Loving him. Looked as happy as you could possibly be. He was the star. Zelensky dressing like that, the disrespectful thug. It was beautiful. Pilgrim Media says, okay, are we living in the most corrupt times? Not at all. It's a different time. I would think in the old days of Tammany and Teapot Dome, even with Harding, it might have been worse, but it's a different type of corruption today. It's completely different. It's a different story. But I just want you to go back. I want you to watch this. When the president, he's not even the president yet. Biden's not there, but Jill's there. The president, Joe Biden, looks like the Back to the Future look. Why are they doing this? I don't understand this. Why aren't they saying he's not going anywhere? Why isn't she going there? You would think she's disappeared. Kamala, gone. Do you understand this? She's gone. She is gone. Everybody's mentioning the Macron handshake. Macron. With that wife. Remember when Candace Owens was making statements about the wife being, I don't get into this stuff. I swear to God, I want you to understand this. I don't get into that. He's a man. She's a man. The thing about Michelle Obama, where does this come from? There's no, I know it's a mean meme and a joke. And that's not my thing. But yet people jump to it. There are so many themes. Oh my God. I saw today, they're recycling the Wiener laptop story. It's back. Oh my God. Bannon is dredging stuff up. Drudging and dredging, I should say. Excuse me, dredging. Oh my God. This is the Wild West again. I don't even know if this is, I can't tell you because we have to always worry about our own algorithms. You think you've got problems. I'm seeing a lot of stuff right now, which is terrific. I want to open it up back into the Wild West. I can't tell you. I talk about this on the private channel, but I can't do it now because you can't even type. Look at our friend Sparky, couldn't even type the word good. He has to write Doog for reasons I don't understand. But it's coming back. This is incredible. Now understand, I'm happy and I'm feeling great. And I want the president to say, good, you keep doing that. And just don't worry about anything. And Pete Hegseth? Did you see the picture of Pete in like these, I don't know what this was, Megyn Kelly had him to like these little skinny, got these little bikini pants on, kind of the shorts, and an American flag at the 9/11. What is going on here? Does everybody have any real serious investment in Pete Hegseth? I don't get it. At least with Gates, he's done. I'm done. I'm out of here. That's it. Maybe and Gates is not going anyway. He's gonna come back either as maybe governor of Florida. Who knows what? But would you please tell me what is going on with this? Why is Megyn Kelly making a big deal about Pete Hegseth? I don't understand this. We're wasting our time with that. Just shut up. Just shut up. I don't care whether you like him. I guess he's okay. Why are we wasting our time? Just don't bring it up. If you're going to pick him, just don't talk about it. What if you just didn't respond? What if you said, well, you know, a woman said that, and now they're claiming that we're going to sue this woman for, say, okay, if you want him that bad, why is he showing up in swim trunks with a thing? Okay, fine. Whatever it is. Do yourself a favor. Just don't say anything about it. If Pete Hegseth is your business, the best guy you want, the weekend Fox morning show guy, okay, that's up to you. Why don't you do yourself a favor? Just don't say anything. Can you imagine this? What if he never says anything? What if he just says anything? Vice President, yes. Did you and you notice how his chief of staff, you don't hear from or Siles or whatever, you don't hear from her. You don't hear from his White House press circuit. You're not hearing from her. You see Alina Habba trying to stick her mug in as she has got to get in there. The cases are over. That's her lawyer. I don't know what she's won. She's not really doing that, but okay, whatever it is, she's done. But the other people, the ones who are really press secretary, chief of staff, they're saying nothing. Ramaswamy saying nothing. We found out that Elon is supporting the Kids Online Safety Act. Yeah. Good. I've got nothing to say, nothing wrong about Elon. I have no. But I want you to understand the question. If I ask you the question, what do you think is worth it? People say, well, I like him. That's not the question. If you knew now what you do, why do you want to put anybody in? Give him a position. Put him in just not defense secretary. Put him in there. Make him like a Doge for the Pentagon. When I ask people a question, they always get defensive. Oh, I like him, like you're his boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't understand what this thing was. That's not the point. If you're going to put him in there, fine. But just don't say anything about it. Just don't say anything. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you would like us to get rid of, let's repeal pardons? What are the purposes of the pardon? What are the purposes? What is the purpose of a pardon? What? What are the purposes? What do we have pardons for? Tell me. Anybody? I was doing some wonderful stuff on the pardon. Oh, it's excellent. And the pardon is something that I never really thought about. But in doing a little bit of research, I'm realizing, you know what? This is some of the best stuff we've got. This is some of the most interesting things we have on this thing called the pardon, and why we have the pardon. What is the purpose of this? What What are we possibly accomplishing by it? What is the purpose of it? Do you remember where it comes from and why we have it? Anybody? Anybody remember this? And the pardons have always been, there have been some really weird. Mark Rich, we had that pardon. We had, remember the FALN, the Weather Underground. Jimmy Carter pardoned 200,000 draft dodgers. Truman pardoned 1,500 conscientious objectors. I was reading George Washington used it after the Whiskey Rebellion. Lincoln used it in trying to reunify the nation. Andrew Johnson used it in 1868 with a pardon for former Confederate forces. Do you know why they did it? Do you know what the purpose of it was? Why they did it? Oh, and then it was Nixon, of course, which had the first, one of the most, notorious of all times. But what was the purpose behind it? The idea, what are you laughing at? Who? Oh, what is the purpose for it? And the idea was that, and this is the most important, and I was reading, and there was a wonderful piece I was reading by Andrew McCarthy, who I think is, Alan Dershowitz wishes he could be Andy McCarthy. Jonathan Turley wishes he could be Andy McCarthy. But there's this wonderful piece I was reading, and it said that in the Republic's infancy, its survival was less certain than it is today. We didn't know. We did not know whether it would even hold. It reminds him. So Hamilton urged in Federalist 74, and every American must read from front to the end the Federalist Papers. Everybody. It's your duty, like your bucket list. Every law student must. Most people don't. It's one of the best ever. And it said, he called the notion of the pardon the benign prerogative. And it says it could be invoked in seasons of insurrection or rebellion because there are often critical moments when a well-timed offer of pardon to the insurgents or rebels may restore the tranquility of the Commonwealth. So the idea was that it was a different time than it was used and should have been used sparingly as a means by which we could induce and adduce and convince people, warring factions to reconsider. Johnny Mess says, Pete brings his mother out. Oh, please, embarrassing. Hear on that. But today, the argument is that we don't need pardons. The idea we have the Eighth Amendment. Cruel and unusual punishment. There's the Bill of Rights, a due process. We have appellate appeals, and now granted, you could say, well, that doesn't really matter. But it's an anachronism. It's like an appendix. It's this vestigial piece, this protection that doesn't really do anything, but actually causes more of a problem than prevents. And I want you to think about this. And I want tonight, when you go to bed, I want you to ask your friends. And tomorrow over, when you go to Shoney's for your Grand Slam, or is that Denny's, I want you to say, hey, by the way, folks, what do you think about perhaps one day maybe repealing the pardon power? What are we doing? And your friends will look at you like, what are you talking about? And you say, what does the pardon mean? Why do we have it? What is the reason for this? What is this, the Whiskey Rebellion? They won't know what you're talking about. It's time for us, ladies and gentlemen, to ask questions of Americans. We don't know. These things don't mean anything to us. How many times do I have to reference this wonderful document? This is the thing we're talking about. But we don't talk about it. We're talking about, I don't know. I told you my dream. I want to have a summer camp, and I want to have people like, I think, like Judge Napolitano, others giving historical perspectives about the Constitution and other great Federalist Society times. I mean it. We know nothing about this. And we also don't know politics. We're so bad at it because you know what? The people that I know love Trump. They love him. They love him. He's their boyfriend. And they love Melania and they love Barron. Did you hear Barron talk? Barron talk. What do you act like he's 3 years old? Or 18 months, whatever it is? He talks. Oh my God. And you should see these people that I know. Oh my God. And they're the, Mark Simone says it best. They're the Mar-a-Lago. Hello, how are you? Let's go to Mar-a-Lago and take a picture. You want to take a selfie? Oh, is that Judge Janine? I took a I loved it. They're like groupies. Groupies. They have these, I'm not even going to mention it to you, but they have these Republican organizations and they try to lure me in to go. They're going to have this event. I'm not even going to tell you the people that are there. It's so embarrassing. Say, this is the Republican event? Is it possible to have? Can we talk about maybe an event like maybe do the Federalist Papers matter? During the whole Hamilton thing, does anybody remember the fact that Hamilton was a slaveholder? Does he? Do people know this? When they had the organization regarding manumission, he never even attended. He had a slave when he was in college. What was it? A slave? It was like a servant, was a slave. And yet, Manuel Miranda, what is the purpose of this? What are we trying to do? The Daniel Penny case is absolutely incredible. Did you see? Please. Did you see Daphne? The prosecutrix? Oh, dear God. Have you seen this dame? With all due respect, what are you doing? What are you doing? Her wife is this quasi-Marxist artist from whatever it is, and they try to scrub their social media. These people are loons. And Alvin Bragg is there. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's a George Soros appointee. And they believe in restorative justice. And they want to put Daniel Penny away, who is a hero. He is a hero. He did nothing wrong. But this woman, Daphne, she was bragging about how somebody who was committed murder or somebody died or an ATM murder, she believes in restorative justice. I guarantee you I could go to any of the Republican clubs or whatever it is and I could say, what are we doing here? We got to ask ourselves, are we going to be just Fox News Republicans? Are people going to be just kind of like, well, I really don't want to get into this. Here's what I want to do. I just want to kind of make fun of these people. I want to call Michelle Big Mike. That's my thing. I don't even know why I'm saying it. I just love to be mean. I love the scrum. I like to fawn over Melania. I love Trump. I love the Fox News people. They're so beautiful. I want to go to Mar-a-Lago. I want to go to the Fox News Awards for Patriotism, put on by Fox News, benefiting Fox News. It was a Fox News production, but that's okay. Now that he's won, I don't care. I don't know. I don't know what it is. This is some of the most, it's like I'm going to say, listen, schmuck, pay attention. This guy's going to do some of the most incredible things possible. Yeah, I know. But I don't really know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, I don't know. I mean, he does his thing. I don't know. But what about Israel? Oh, God, don't bring up Israel. I'm having such a good time anyway. I don't know. Syria. Could you be Syria? Against Syria and Syria? I have no idea. Syria is how some Asians would say Cilia, which is a terrible joke. But the point is, nobody understands this. Now, what do you think? What's happening with BRICS? I don't know. What level of Republican, strike that, what level of American do you want to be? What is your involvement going to be? What do you know? What do you want to know? Do you want to sit back like most people and just say, look, I just want to say a couple of quips here. I don't know. I don't really give a shit about this. Johnny Mathis Bass says Judd Knapp said he was interviewed twice by Trump for the Supreme Court. Didn't get the appointment. I wonder why, but I have an idea. Well, I don't know. Fish says, did you see Fetterman set the View hag straight? It was funny. Oh, the other day we had him on. I mean, I had the clip, and does that matter? Where is he going with this? Where are the people in the Trump administration working the specifics of this? I'm serious. Do you want to be, listen, if you don't want me to talk about this, maybe we should just, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe I'm thinking that you find this fascinating. Maybe you just want to talk about, hey, did you see that handshake? Yeah, I sure did. I don't care about that. Who is the majority is being held by a thread. Where are the major legislative groups coming out to prevent and redo, refurbish, reconfigure the rules in terms of voting and the like? Do you really think Marco Rubio? Can you imagine Marco Rubio sitting down with Lavrov? Did you see Lavrov with Tucker? Did you see this guy? You think Marco Rubio and Lavrov can do? This guy is, he speaks 5 languages. 2, I'm not even sure. You know who Lavrov is, right? Of course. He interviewed foreign minister. Look at Sergei Lavrov. Look what you're going to love this. The languages he speaks, he's the longest serving foreign minister since Gromyko. And he speaks, you're going to love this. I'm going to get the languages. He speaks, wait a minute. He speaks, he received a Soviet diplomatic posting in Sri Lanka. He speaks fluent Sinhala, Daivehi, English, and French, in addition to his native Russian. Sinhala, of course, as you know, is an Indo-Aryan language spoke from the people in Sri Lanka. Did you know that? Daivehi is an Indo-Aryan language spoken in the South Asian island of the Maldives, India, and oh my God. And he's going to be with Marco Rubio? Dear God. Nobody seems to care about this Marco Rubio. Oh, my dream would be John Mearsheimer. Oh, God. He would just, he would be the greatest thing ever. He would be so perfect. Linda Hazlitt says, we desperately need to talk about it. Yes. And you better tell that blowhard, big mouth, jackwagon, Seb Gorka to watch it. Watch what you say. Who's President Trump's Jeb Magruder? I don't know about his chiefs of staff. Nixon had a loyalty that was wonderful. What are some of the major shortcomings President Trump has? I'm serious. Are you ready for this? What are some of the major shortcomings right now? If I could come in and bring him in, what would you do? What do you think? What are some of the things that you think he's going to work on, that you got to be worried about? Because forget the good stuff. What you got to worry about? What is it you got to what? Look at this. Christopher says, listen to Mearsheimer talks from 2014, 2.5 to 3 hours, predicting everything that was going to happen in Ukraine. That, I think, was one of the longest. That was one of the best, most well-received YouTube dissertations perhaps ever. What was it? Narcissistic tendency. Fred, may I say something? It's never narcissism. Narcissism is a word that we use like we use the word psychopath. It's rarely psychopathic. It's and narcissistic. That's not it. But you're getting somewhere. He will get comfy. Nelson, you in a very relaxed and almost a bucolic, kind of a hayseed fashion, came up with probably one of the best versions. He will get comfy, relaxed. He doesn't understand. P.T. Barnum, getting Bill's attack, his attraction to beautiful people. You know what I would say, David? Not just that, but his attraction to cool people. See, I'm the opposite. Cool people, I don't like. I like the ones who are not cool. Those are the people I like. I like the ones who are the outliers. I like the people who had to get through their life being different. That's what Nixon saw with Kissinger. Kissinger was the smartest guy. Kissinger was the ultimate, not 4D chess. There's different. 4D means you're kind of looking down. This was, he could see. He was like Gretzky. Gretzky could see where the game was going. Gretzky could actually see. He could see where the puck would be in 30 seconds. Linda Hazlitt says star powers. Yes. One of the things he has to do, and he does not have this, is he doesn't understand to be ruthless. He doesn't understand the way you have to be with people that they appreciate. I think I told you this years ago, but I will tell you this. I spoke with a fellow in Israel, and there was a fellow, I don't want to mention his name, but he was one of the most interesting people ever. And he was trying his best, and I never forget this. He said, let me explain to you something. And I gave him some idea of mine. I said, I don't, I'm not a big fan of 9/11 in Afghanistan. He goes, wait. He says, do you know what we thought here? We, meaning the Arab community, the whole, because the Jews and the Arabs are the same, shalom, salam. I mean, the food, they're the same people. And there's an expression about the Arab mentality. And the line was, he would burn his blanket to kill the fleas. And their mentality is Saladin and the desert and all this stuff, Okay. And he told me, he says, you know what? He said, when 9/11 happened, and George Bush, he said, Let's see what he does. And he came in like, wow. Now we're over here saying this is complete nonsense. This was pre-planned. General Clark and others, he said it. It was pretext. This fellow in their state ministry, whatever, said the reaction there was, now that's the United States we know. You see, when you go to other people, when you deal with other people, it's one thing that George Bush said was, when I meet, if I'm going to meet with MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, if I'm going to meet with whoever, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I understand. Tell me about them, about the psychology of these people. Who are they? Well, this guy never knew his father, or this one knew his father. This one was always family, whatever. This one's inferiority. You have a psychological, he likes to be called this. He doesn't like to be called that. Tell me about their customs. What don't you do? What do you say? How do you say this? And there was a story, and it was a bit, or had a bit apocryphal, but it was nonetheless interesting. And it was George Herbert Walker Bush talking about Saddam. And he kept saying Saddam. People were saying Saddam. Why did he say that? Is that a Connecticut kind of version? And I heard, no, Saddam means something. The way they say Saddam is something like shoe shine boy, the foot, the shoe, the oh. And he also said, I put my, what does he say? He said, I'm going to put my foot to you. And what he did was he said this specifically, knowing that people would hear it and say, oh my God, that's the glove across the face. That's the way they thought. So he did his research. He understands this. I think Trump probably understood Kim Jong-un better than anybody. I heard him say something which is so interesting. He said, this is a young man who's got a tremendous responsibility. You know, his father, and he said, that's exactly right. He did it. He said, because he spoke vis-a-vis through the prism, through the eyes of Kim Jong-un. Pilgrim says, is General Milley a turncoat in the present sense? No, he's a petticoat. They're going to grant him some kind of pardon. I don't know what for, but what happens when Trump has to tell Israel and Bibi and Adelson and AIPAC, that's enough. That's enough. What happens? Is that going to happen? Better happen. There's a story somebody told me one time. You know Lawrence Tierney, the actor? Lawrence Tierney? He was in Reservoir Dogs and he played, I talk like that. He was just a terrible alcoholic. And one day there was a story somebody told me. I was at Gallagher's on 52nd. Somebody told me this. He said that they were about to kill him or beating him up or something. And Frank Sinatra walked by and he looked and said, Frank, can you help? Or I don't know what happened. And the story is Frank said, that's enough. And that was it. They probably saved his life. That's all Frank Sinatra said was, that's enough. And you beat him up enough, and that's it. How are we going to do that? How is Marco Rubio going to be able to tell the Israeli lobby, listen, we've that's a last check. We're done with this. We're done. Enough. There's nothing left. You've killed enough people. We can't justify this anymore. That's it. It's done. Don't give me the Hamas thing. Don't give me the whatever. We appreciate it. We love you. You've been great allies or whatever that means. But that's it. Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? You think Marco Rubio can do that? Can he do that? Now, at least Stefanik, she's the ambassador to the UN. But can Marco Rubio do that? How does he do that? You think he's got the wherewithal of Lavrov? I mean, you're talking about dealing with other countries and customs. We don't speak any other language. Everybody else speaks English. We don't speak Russian. We don't speak anything. We barely speak English. What's going to happen there? How is he going to handle NATO? How do you tell the war faction? How do you tell these people? Are they afraid of Trump? Is he ruthless? Can he look people in the eyes and say, I will cut your balls off right in front of you? I'm telling you, I will do it. I don't want to, but I will do it to make a point. I will do it. It's Harry Truman. One of the things he loved more than anything else was, I'm going to be the guy, me, the bespectacled haberdasher, failed guy, World War I kind of wimp, Pendergast boy. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to drop twice the biggest guns ever. It was almost orgasmic. Don't let anybody fool you. Most people would run and hide. Not Harry. And let me tell you something. You think they listen to Harry after this? Oh. Whatever he said it was gold. Absolutely. And remember, Harry Truman, after World War II, Eisenhower, MacArthur, Stimson, even Curtis LeMay said, no, there's no need to do that. Just protect Hirohito. That's all you got to worry about. Harry said, oh, no. No, they're going to fear us. And he didn't need to do it because they didn't know about Klaus Fuchs and this complicated. Trump doesn't have that. Trump talks about it. I'm going to go there. He'll talk about, he's had no wars. People have had, Trump never took us to war. Okay. That may be great here, but how does that play in the rest of the world? I'm not so sure. So all I'm telling you, dear friends, is listen to me carefully. We love him. He's great, but he's not perfect. And now we're going to have to say, all right, let the rest of these people have fun. Sean Hannity and others, they're going to do all their things. That's fun. Now we have to govern this thing. We've got 4 years. We got to turn this around. That's what I'm interested in. And it takes knowing about history and policy. That's all. That's all, dear friends. I want to know about that. So Pilgrim Media, Linda Hazlitt, thank you so much. Fishman, Johnny Maz, the Spaz, JTE, Nelson A, Gene Crane, everybody. Thank you so much. Please follow Mrs. L. She is stupendous. What's that? This evening, we had to go. It was so funny. We had to mail something. Well, not mail, mail. I use that term. So we went to a FedEx. It was a FedEx. It was like one person. I say, excuse me, do you just have one person here? Well, we have two, but in the middle of New York City in December, one person. They go, I said, do you have just one? Well, the other person's helping somebody. And what they were doing was so stupid. It was like a computer thing. So this woman was by herself. So anyway, so she says, and I'm lugging this thing. It's like a big, like a toy, it looks like Santa's bag. It's what it looked like. It was a Santa sack. And I'm lugging around like a come mierda. I'm walking around with this big sack like Santa Claus. Oh, but I think on my back. So we walk in there. And normally when you walk into FedEx, the ship is over here. Then the usual supply stuff is over here. So I went over to the ship. She goes, excuse me, one line over here. I said, okay, we got an attitude. All right, here we go. So we finally get there. We wait. And she says, we don't have any boxes. And I said, wait a minute. FedEx, you don't have boxes? In December in New York before Christmas. She says, well, we don't have any boxes. I can check. I said, let me get this straight. FedEx, you don't have any boxes in New York City. Okay. So we said, well, the hell with this. So we said, well, there's a UPS on 57. We went across this, went around there. We walked in. Imagine it looked like a UPS exploded. Like there's bags. I don't know what this stuff was. Bags of, they have like those little boxes where you can rent a little box. I don't know if it was that mail, shredding stuff. It looked like it blew up, like at a crime scene. And we got these two kind of, I don't know, Dominican looking guys. The music was "Ba-da-da, bing, ba-ba-da-da, puedo cami," and he's singing "Para chuchi make it." And I said, okay. So anyway, we went there and we finally got it done. It cost like $100 and something bucks. It was the box. Anyway, got it done. But it was only in New York. And you walk in to like this Dominican, I don't think it was Puerto Rican, it was Dominican, but loud, and he's singing. And, you're not going to sit there and say, hey, can you turn this down? Because he's got your stuff. And, if it just doesn't show up, you come back next week, he's long gone. I don't care if you got the receipt or not. But I thought this was so weird. So we're just walking around and it was just a Christmas vibe. And I just wish I could have shown you this. This is New York. This is like nothing. You go to these other places. Hi, how are you? Welcome to UPS. My name's Courtney. Here, ba-da-da, bing, ba-da-da, and he's singing, and he's like loud. You know what it is when the guy when he's typing in your thing. Okay, what's the address? Yo soy mi diga, pe pasa fuego cami. Okay, 572. Para pin pasadera como nando. Aye como. Okay, fine. With stuff all over the floor, but we got it done. We got it. Hope we did. I hope we did. I got this other place. He goes, well, how many boxes? How many boxes? Oh my God. It was something else. But you know what? I got to tell you something. Oh, Eva says, after they fear you, what is the next thing? Respect you. They will respect you, Evan. Okay? All right, my friends. Listen, you have a great and glorious night. Thank you. Everybody have a good night. Remember this. Learn the Constitution. You have your websites available. Watch documentaries. Watch Mearsheimer. Find out the history of the pardon. Learn about the Whiskey Rebellion. The more you know, the more you will be able to apply this to what's going on. And don't push somebody because you like them. I like Pete. No, I don't. I let Pete be a part of it, but maybe not sec def. You know what I mean? No, I like him. Okay, I know you like him. I watch Fox and he's great. Okay, thank you. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, you got it? All right, my friends. Okay, dear friends. One more time. Just one more time. It was asked. And just very, very simple. Just let's go out with this one, okay? Let's just go out with this because this will make you feel better. Ready? One more time. One more time.
Silent night. Holy night.
I hear you.
Oh,
All in calm. Oh, holy bride. Oh, round your virgin.
Now watch the bubble pop. Watch this. Here we go. See, that was very good. It's not great. All right, my friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Remember, God bless America. We're doing great. Don't let anybody fool you. We are still the best of the best of the best. See you tomorrow, dear friends. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. This show's over. Sue you. Da, da.